Hi, welcome to my video titled Sleeping in the Alley. I'm Carl Torsman, short story writer and author. It was minus 10 degrees and I had no sleeping bag, heavy coat, or car. I had no place to sleep, and no matter where I wandered, there was no fire or heat, either close or afar. It was just the two of us alone, with my little puppy to keep me warm, as the wind blows hard and the cardboard boxes wither in the wind as the damp air packs a wallow against my head and uncovered shoulders. Neither one of us comfortable or warm, but hugging each other tight to catch the most of body heat. We savor so much, almost as much as the spirit to make us fight to stay alive. There was no roof, no door, no window to keep the rain off my body as I leaned, snuggled tightly against the wall of this old building that gave me just enough room to crawl into the nook and cranny of its corner, as I was a homeless man without any borders. Nomadic, not by choice, but rather a wanderer by misfortune, as I had no place to go after the military service let me go. As they trained me to fight and skill to kill and at the top of my game, but when discharge came they tossed me aside, no longer wanted, needed, and casted me away. I needed a place to sleep, I needed some heat, but the wetness around me soaked my body all the way down to my feet. The clothes were ragged, no waterproof boots or hooded sweatshirt to keep me warm. I entertained myself and my little mutt-like dog with my sarcastic charm. I had what I had and valued it all. As the moment the rain stopped, the snow began to fall, the weather being cold and chilly right after summer and the middle of fall. And what I did have to wear was not without a tear, as I wore and dressed whatever I found inside a dumpster or box that was left behind, including a pair of brand new socks rolled up into a ball. Trying to sleep against the wall, all around me the freezing snow began to fall, and there were no friends, no family, or anyone I could think to call. A nomad, a man without a house, a home, a bum who lived on the street with no heat, no furniture, no comforts of home. The only thing that kept me alive was the warmth of the little puppy hugging me tight as we shared the body heat the best we could and scrounged the street for something to eat. The alley was dirty, the water that puddled had frozen solid, and my body was feeling old and beat up as I sat there in the dark, filled with deep regret. There were cigarette butts all around me, but the nicotine and the addiction was also something I wanted to forget. Before I sat down on the ground, I used my feet to sweep the street, covered with trash, used condoms and needles left behind by the dopers and addicts of the street. Definitely close to a hooker spot, I saw a pimp beat a hooker as they argued loudly just about a half block down the street. You can't miss me night or day, for this was my favorite place to stay. For me and my dog, I blended right in with the other faceless huddled masses without names, shapes, or form. We struggled to stay warm. Homeless people sleeping outside even now, when it's cold and wet as the temperature seems to be dropping for the winter. This is a norm as life we know it on the street gets. The lucky ones like me could press against the building and stay dry and warm. That's until the landlord sees me laying there and calls the beat cop to chase me off his property, and stacked boxes or shelter are lost once more, like before. I have seen men and women die outside. I've seen them frozen stiff. With my own eyes, there's no logical reason or cause for a human to have to suffer like this and die all alone when all it takes is a wall, a roof, a window, and a floor. But I'm lucky to find an open door. I hear there are places for shelter, free to many, and food to eat. I hear they're kept warm at night and dry, and higher security so no one gets beat. But I also heard that they're full, and that the food is sparse and the shelves are bare, leaving much less for others. These shelter houses don't have enough beds to take care of us all, and so we find a nice dry spot just off the side of the street, as alleys are next to nothing for the homeless ones, and pretend we have a place to live and sleep on the imaginary cot. This old man can't compete and stand on his feet for the long hours to wait to secure a bed as people line up hours before the shelter opens their door. The same old drill day after day. Living in the alley means we don't have a job or work, but we always find something to do to make a buck. Finding a job's nearly impossible, for you're judged how you dress, and unwashed hair is enough to put other people hiring into a serious level of shock. We have not Medicare, No insurance or carrying one of those fancy Medicare cards. Some homeless sleep with bugs and lice and medical conditions where one night or day their heart might stop or their lungs just stop to breathe. The lack of shoes or boots makes them rare commodity indeed, as I've seen a man beat to death because the other fellow wanted his shoes, and others get beat for a tease. Theft is the normal way of living amongst the homeless. They take whatever you carry on you or put on public display, so it's best to hide it or stow it away. My feet are sore, the blisters are red and bleeding, and I really can't walk too much further anymore. And with this wind, my bones are freezing to the core. The puppy's getting heavy. I carry it with me so others can't hurt it or try to steal it, as I need a companion to keep me warm and talk to when there's another storm. Her 4 little legs get no exercise in my arms, and I'm afraid that if I let her walk, another homeless man will balk and reach out to take my puppy away. There aren't other places to go, but the alley is my favorite, as it's so far out of the way. It doesn't cause me any hassles from the cops, the people who walk the streets, and other homeless I meet along the way. So here in this alley where I live, sleep and recuperate. Here I will heal, and likely here I'll die, as I only worry about my wiry little mutt and hope someone will take good care of her and not treat her like a stray who lives and sleeps in this alley. And from here on in, I wander day and night, up and down every street and hill, using a stick as a cane, knowing fully well what this weather is either going to kill us or send us straight to hell. Before you jump to any conclusions, after the Vietnam War, I too became a homeless person and experienced many of the traumatic events. I learned how to stay alive and survive without any help. I wandered, scrounged for food and shelter, and met people like me on the street and found out they had hearts of gold and took care of their pets much better than themselves. I dedicate this video to the homeless veterans, as well as the homeless who are seriously mentally ill and have no place to go, and live with family or friends and survive because they are determined not to let life get them down.